few of them. Oh, there are two of them. One in the morning and then one with me. So 5:30 is when you can win from me this week. Listen for that keyword. 5 trips this week, 1 a day. So if you've been trying to get your mitts on that because it's a sold-out show, I will hook you up shortly. So listen for that keyword. Patrice O'Neal died 10 years ago today. 10 years ago. And he was on this show just once. It was July 30th, 2010. I hadn't even been here a year yet. I got here Christmas of 09. And he was doing the Cleveland Improv. And because we were still goofing on the Mel Gibson voicemail messages. We had a girl the other day, I was talking about divorce or something. This girl emails and goes, "What did you do that you got divorced?"
What did I do by getting married? Do you understand? It's against every... Do you think I wanted to ruin my life? It's nothing but a stripe. But if you work at my company, if I'm a company, you've been working with me for 5 years, it's just...
Marriage wasn't created for people to live to 90.
Oh!
Die at 29, baby, I love you, I'm off to the great reward or whatever, These people are like, oh, look at them. They've been married 55 years. Are you insane?
Yeah, and this conversation we're having, there should be a dude option for when one of these guys get caught out there cheating, that there's a dude network that goes, did you see his wife? This guy is famous, and did you see her? There's a reason they don't have Dos Equis beer woman.
Right.
The most interesting 80-year-old woman
in the world.
The world. Who just has young men around going, hey, guys, I catch owls on my...
So 10 years ago today. Stroke or diabetes or whatever it was, right?
Stroke, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny dude.
I was reading that the Jussie... Remember Jussie Smollett?
Oh, yeah. That was a few years ago now, right? That was like
3 or 4 years ago. I thought this was all said and done because I had kind of been keeping an eye on it because I had friends that were talking. This happened in Chicago, so I had friends that were on the air there and were talking about it, whatever, who worked at urban stations. And I thought that this is all had all been done away with because of some behind-the-scenes shenanigans with the attorney's office in Cook County. I thought that stuff had all been dismissed. I guess it was dismissed, and then another attorney brought charges. So the Jussie Smollett trial starts today. For people who don't remember, Jussie Smollett was, as Dave Chappelle called him, a very famous French actor. Jussie Smollett. Remember Jussie Smollett?
Apparently, when he was walking down the street late at night, 2 white men came out of the shadows with MAGA hats on and beat him up. Tied a rope around his neck, called him all kinds of niggas, and put some bleach on him and ran off into the night. And for some reason, African Americans, we were like oddly quiet. We were so quiet about this that the gay community started accusing African American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence. Because we understood that this was clearly lying.
So nearly 3 years later, Jussie Smollett, who, just as Dave Chappelle described, downtown in the wee hours of the morning.
At a Subway.
Going to
Subway. And these white guys hop out, MAGA hats, call him the F word.
Inward, too.
Put a noose around his neck.
Right. And Chappelle, of course, points out these are not the guys that are watching Empire.
But I just don't understand how and why he would lie about something like this. It's a very obscure, detailed lie.
Because I think he was worried about being written out of the show.
But
and ironically, that's what happened. Yeah, he didn't appear on the final season of that show's not on anymore.
Why would you be, worried about that? You're an actor. I feel like you know that most of your jobs are going to end.
But here's the thing, too, and this happens a lot. Well, I shouldn't say it happens a lot. It happens enough where you hear about it, where people who there are people who go an extra step in the wrong direction to try to bring attention to what they consider a marginalized community. So here's a black gay dude who goes, I don't think there's enough people paying attention to what's going on. So he allegedly hired a couple of dudes to rough him up. Because remember, they caught those like brothers who flew over from Ghana or something, you know, friend of a friend of a friend. And then he goes, this way, I'll get attention. I'll call, because you've heard it happen in other situations, not from famous people, but you'll hear about somebody, some black girl on campus that said she got a same kind of thing. You can always tell when people are bad actors. And I mean this figuratively. If you really pay attention, you can tell when people are bad actors.
Why? Because their lines get cut and they're just a face?
Smiling.
Because you'll hear about, a black girl on a college campus was beat up by 3 white guys who were kicking her and going, this is Trump's country, right? It's too written. It's written. It's overwritten.
Yeah.
It's more likely somebody might be driving by throwing Coke cans at your head.
But if people know that.
Or screaming or whatever. But there's all these cases where somebody's trying to call attention to something and they figure, well, I'll make up a story, then I'll get a lot of attention. It's just that they're going to pick through your story if that's what you're going to do. It better be goddamn airtight if you don't want anybody figuring it out.
But I feel like people know that. They're like, this is too...
People know dick. People aren't paying attention. They're reading headlines and not the stories. They don't know what's going on.
If you are a predator...
You know how many people believe... We all saw justice for Jussie. Hashtag justice for, because people read what he said and ran with it.
But I feel like if you're looking to do harm and you're a predator, they're like, if I do this, people are going to be more suspicious of him than they are of me committing this act because it seems to on those.
Suspicious of who?
Suspicious of what the guy said. Suspicious of what Jussie said. They're like, no one's ever going to believe that a white guy, threw a noose in the middle of Chicago in the middle of the night.
Plenty of people would believe that. Plenty of people who want to believe something like that would believe that. Listen, the whole Chappelle hunk of material about Jussie Smollett is funny because it's ridiculous. There's guys hiding around a corner. Have you ever been in a Chicago winter at 1 a.m? Nobody's hiding outside to throw
to go, hey, we don't watch your show, but we know you're a very powerful actor on it, and we don't want you to keep pushing your agenda, so we have to attack you. That's
yes, and not only that,
his story.
Even if you watched that show, you wouldn't recognize him because you're going to have a cap on, and you're going to have a scarf around your face, and you're going to be bundled over every inch of your body.
You're right. Chicago
Downtown Chicago, in the
city.
wintertime, it's like ice daggers in your face. Nobody's walking around in a baseball cap and a, T-shirt.
I really am looking
Plenty of
for
people
it.
believed it because they wanted to believe it.
Do you think that this is just...
But Chappelle's right. The people who didn't believe it were black folks. Because they were like, I don't know about this. So these brothers can't wait to testify against Jussie Smollett. They go, he paid us. He arranged it. He paid us.
I think this is a cover-up.
Covering what up?
They're making... They
because
just
even if the public believes you, police... prosecutors, they've got to start digging in.
No, I'm not.
They've got to ascertain what the facts are.
I'm not talking about that. I just think it's pretty fishy that this trial is going on the same time that the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is going on. They want to divert attention to the black gay man who supposedly lied because he wanted to get more money on Empire, but they're not talking about all the powerful men that Ghislaine Maxwell might give up while she's on trial. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody's talking about that.
They said that
you can't find any coverage on Ghislaine Maxwell. Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody's talking
about it. The cover-up with Jussie Smollett was what they thought that Cook County attorney was doing. They wanted to disbar her for that Kim Fox. That's why I thought that the thing was done, because she had dismissed the charges. She was like, nah, nothing to see here. And that's what got her in trouble. As they were like, nah, she didn't do anything criminal, but it was a severe abuse of her duties. She wanted to get this thing taken care of because I think she knew it stunk. And then another prosecutor in the city of Chicago reopened it, and now it's going to trial. But I didn't know that second half. I thought it was all done.
I just don't believe that he would do it. I think he might be.
Why don't you?
Because I feel like someone like him would not want to.
What do you mean someone like him? None of us know him. I'm just saying that the facts...
Coming from someone who's black and gay...
The facts... Okay, even better. Those facts track for you?
But listen to what I had, my explanation
Wintertime in Chicago, he's downtown getting a sandwich.
I understand
And a couple of guys in MAGA hats jump out with a noose
I think there's more to the story.
bleach.
Well, Poundcake, let's put it
Well,
this way.
they're going to find out what the rest of the story
I think he
is.
might
If you're
be-
hungry at night and you want a sandwich, are you going out for it or are you having it delivered?
Oh, I'm Uber Eatsing it.
Let Cody tell his side.
Coming from someone who's a black gay man in the public eye, paranoid as I am, I don't like to draw attention to myself. So I don't feel like him.
That's patently false.
But I feel like he is ripe for being taken advantage of just
by whom?
By his agents, by everyone, because they know he is a target.
You're throwing in a whole bunch of red herrings that have nothing to do with the
I
case.
feel like he could possibly...
These two, he tells a story no one believes. These two brothers come forward and go, he paid us to do this.
He might be being extorted or something.
For what?
We don't know yet.
Two strangers from Ghana flew over here to extort an actor no one had ever heard of before.
Might be threatened to kill him or something. You don't know.
You know what? You're
trying
right.
not to. I'm trying. I'm giving him the benefit
I don't know
of the doubt.
why.
Because I don't feel like I feel like most people would not want to lie about something
because
like that.
you identify with them because you're black and gay.
And I'm coming from a standpoint.
But it also, the fact that you're black and gay doesn't mean that you're blind to the facts of the case.
Yes,
so
the
far.
facts are fishy for sure. But I feel like most people would know that he is not a stupid guy. I feel like he knows his facts are fishy. That's why I think he's intentionally leaving stuff out because he's probably afraid of for his life. I feel like all this is just like extortion. He might be getting blackmailed, and they're like, it's a diversion for something else. He might be covering up.
Sometimes things are pretty simple. Sometimes
I would like to know.
Somebody pays a couple of dudes to rough him up so he can get some coverage because he's worried he's not getting enough attention on the television show.
Okay.
That makes a hell of a lot more sense to me than a couple of guys flew over here to extort a guy.
I'm not saying those were just like the pawns.
Well, you might be right because the trial started today, and we're going to see how it plays out.
I just don't. I feel like most people. He's a smart guy. I feel like
I don't know anything about him.
He comes from like a long line of like educated actors. Like they all go to like.
But that's got not, some of the dumbest people I know went to really good schools.
Okay.
Present company included. I'm not that bright.
I feel like he knows that there are flaws in his story. So I don't think he would say it if he
goes, listen, I don't want to always be the guy from the Mighty Ducks. I want to be known for something else. Listen, I got to give away this trip. Forget Chicago in the winter. How about Los Angeles in the winter? Specifically the weekend of January 15th, I think. It's our iHeartRadio Alter Ego Festival. Why not? You and a pal will fly you out, put you up, get you tickets to the whole shebang. Listen for this keyword here very closely, and good luck.
Now, here's your chance at a trip to our 2022 iHeartRadio Alter Ego. Text the nationwide keyword FLY to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's FLY to 200-200.
Speaking of Chappelle, he went back to his high school.
I thought they didn't want him there.
They didn't want him there.
And so that's why he went.
Well, no, he did a Q&A with the students. And I guess he had a chat, and he got some booze, he got some cheers. He went to the Duke Ellington School of the Arts in D.C., and they were going to have him, they were going to name a theater after him. And then the school said, let's hold off on this because the kids are mad about some of the jokes in his latest hour.
These kids suck.
People...
They heard what Duke Ellington's been saying on Big Mouth.
Big Mouth?
He ain't exactly politically correct down there.
The grossest season of Big Mouth thus far, I might add.
Very gross.
Yeah. So Chappelle went and did a Q&A session with the staff and 580 students. It wasn't like a little room full of kids at 8 Tops. Where he was greeted with cheers and some booze. 8 students.
How much did he charge?
This doesn't say anything about that. I don't know that he charged anything. Should he have charged?
Well, I mean, usually when he's doing a performance, he's going to, he's got a hefty ticket.
But he's there to do a Q&A with the kids.
Listen, I'm just saying, the guy likes to make money, so just surprised he did it for free. So those kids should be thankful that they got to see him for free, because a lot of people Got to shell out quite a bit of money to see Dave Chappelle.
I guess so. One student called him a bigot and said, "I'm 16. I think you're childish. You handled all of the criticism like a child." And Dave Chappelle said, "My friend, with all due respect, I don't believe you could make one of the decisions I have to make on a given day." So some kid said that he was a little antagonistic. He said, "I'm better than all of you right now, but I'm sure that will change. I'm sure you'll be household names soon." So, okay, he's being a little snippy with the kids. But some of the kids didn't like, and the only thing I take issue with, listen, just because you have less life experience, which is clearly what he's pointing out there, doesn't mean that you don't have opinions on things, right? You should be able to say whatever you want. I don't like the whole, hate isn't funny thing, because hate isn't funny. But jokes aren't hate.
Right.
So, that's something you'll have to figure out too. So I guess
hate can be jokes.
Huh? I can't. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. You think there's people that?
Well, listen. Jokes are funny. If it's funny, is hate funny?
Well,
you make that funny.
But funny's also subjective.
Yeah, but when people are laughing and when they're not laughing, and if they're not laughing, you don't do that anymore. You're not doing that particular joke anymore.
Right, but
right?
But you're playing to your audience. There's definitely audiences where you could say some very hateful things and people will laugh at that because they think that's funny.
Yeah, if you're doing the Stormfront stand-up comedy hour, I guess you could. But I don't know if anybody saw that Fox Nation, which I think is the Fox News streaming service, they did this thing called the Patriot Awards. Anybody see that?
No.
Oh God,
I must have missed that.
You got to find
Who
that.
hosted it?
I don't know, but it's
Jim Brewer?
Conservative comedy keeps trying. They keep trying. They're like, Greg Gutfeld is hilarious. When Greg Gutfeld is the funniest guy you have, holy cow. So they're trying, but if something's funny, if you don't like what somebody's joking about, that's one thing. It's not tantamount to hate for that group of people.
I agree with that.
And so if it's hate isn't funny, listen, I applaud Chappelle for going and talking to these kids. Yeah, of course he's going to be snippy.
But there are also kids that are going to a high school that is probably very liberal.
It's a performing arts school.
Yeah, performing arts school.
Yeah, sure.
So they're going to...
And he knows that.
Yeah, so they're going to have that perspective.
He said, whether or not they know it, I love these kids. I don't want to hear any threats to these kids. They don't deserve that. And kids were like, he was kind of snippy, but he was nice. There was no reason for him to laugh at us. Listen, there's always a reason to laugh at performing arts kids. I can't say it any clearer than that, all right? Sometimes they're trying to get you to, sometimes they're not trying to get you to, but that's all part of learning how to perform. Sometimes they're laughing with you, sometimes they're laughing at you. And if you can get more of the former than the latter, you're doing great. He also handed out 600 Thanksgiving meals, and he handed out tickets to a screening of his documentary. For free, Bill. Did you pay for yours?
No, I did not.
Somebody did.
These kids are just like Bill Squire. They're getting free tickets.
I was very lucky, but I did pay to see him when he was filming that documentary at the show in Yellow Springs.
Yeah.
That was not cheap.
Well, people are also mad because Chappelle got a Grammy nomination. So did Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And so did Marilyn Manson. And so that people are like,
we're not canceling people, right, are we?
What did Marilyn Manson get a Grammy for?
Well, they changed the rules of what you get nominated for, and Marilyn Manson worked on that Kanye Donda album.
Oh.
And so he got imagine getting a Grammy nomination because I don't think Marilyn Manson's ever gotten a Grammy nomination on his own, has he? Maybe he has, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, at his peak in the late 90s. But people were like, whoa, Louis C.K. And the Grammy committee is like, okay,
yeah.
This is not about people's personal lives. We're taking what they gave us.
Did.
Yeah, the work. And,
We're not canceling people, right?
Well, I mean.
They're doing a bad job. He's supposed to be canceled.
You've got a point.
Miserable.
He's got a Grammy nomination. That's not really that canceled.
Alan, I just want to know the name of the trans person who tricked Dave Chappelle. You hear that from a lot of people. They're like, oh, he must have tried to get some strange and reached down and found a teeny weeny or something. I don't know that's...
I don't think he was tricked.
Oh, you think that's what it is? Yeah. So anyway, he went to his alma mater. He went to that performing arts school and talked to the kids. And who knows? Maybe both sides will walk away with a different understanding of the situation.
I wonder where I would be right now if my parents had put me in a performing arts school instead of Medina.
You would have hated that. It's still school.
Yeah,
you would have hated
homework.
that as much as yeah.
But you get to perform, and I like to perform.
Would you have liked to perform then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but you still wouldn't have liked the school work.
Yeah, but it's worth it to perform.
Huh. But didn't they have a drama club at Medina High School?
Yeah, but I wasn't in it.
Why not?
My grades were too bad.
You see the issue here, right? One hand scratches the other.
But also, it was...
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. I tried out for a
I don't want to
play
read
once.
lines. Those are
Yeah.
printed on paper. I'm not a paperwork guy. The
Well,
script.
Back then, it was, paperwork was really all there was. I didn't even understand that there was such a... The cyber world is going to take over the way it has.
You thought we were going to be living forever in a paper paradise.
No, I mean, I just...
This world
just then.
holds no sway for me. Now then, do you hear that, Mr. and Mrs. Squire? Who knows what this young man's life could have been had you enrolled him in a performing arts school?
But you didn't, so now I'm just a sidekick.
Not just. I got to take a break. If you want to get a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com. You can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan